Indonesia, 1815. Indonesia, 1815. England, 1666. For several reasons, 1666 was a bad year to live in London, England's capital city. The metropolis suffered from both a deadly plague and a devastating fire. Nearly 1 in 5 Londoners passed during the Great Plague, which began in 1665 and wiped out an estimated 100,000 people. King Charles Roman II fled the city when it began, refusing to return for months, and things only got worse. In September 1666, a fire broke out in a baker's house and quickly spread throughout the city. The Great Fire of London destroyed more than 80% of the city, burning through buildings made of wood and tar. There was only one potential silver lining to the devastating fire. Many believed it helped to end the plague. Ireland, 1840s. The Irish potato famine changed Ireland forever. It struck in 1845, when a fungus-like infestation ruined Ireland's potato crop for 7 straight years, destroying about 75% of the harvest. The country's tenant farmers relied on potatoes as a central food source, and the losses quickly led to a major famine. At the time, Ireland was effectively a colony of Great Britain, and even during the famine, Irish tenant farmers exported large quantities of food to be able to pay their landlords. By 1852, when the famine ended, an estimated 1 million people had died from starvation and related diseases, and at least another million had fled the country permanently. Japan, 1945. As history's deadliest war, World War II was devastating everywhere. In the Soviet Union, 25 million people perished. China saw 15 million lost, and 6 million Jews, along with millions of other civilians and political prisoners, passed in German concentration camps during the Holocaust. With around 3 million deaths, Japan saw relatively low casualties compared to the USSR and China, but Japan was the only country to experience a nuclear attack during wartime. President Harry S. Truman chose to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to pressure the Japanese to surrender. And Emperor Hirohito surrendered days after the attack, instantly took the lives of more than 100,000 Japanese civilians. He pointed to the devastation of the new and most cruel bomb. The Soviet Union, 1930s. Joseph Stalin mercilessly industrialized the Soviet Union with his 5-year plans while solidifying his power through the Great Purge. He forced millions of peasants off their land, sent millions of people to forced labor camps, and murdered countless political prisoners using the Soviet secret political police. Show trials forced accused political rivals to confess to crimes, and Stalin ordered his followers to track down Leon Trotsky and eliminate him. Just how many died during Stalin's ruthless rule? In 1989, one historian estimated Stalin had slayed 20 million people, including 6 to 7 million in an artificial famine and 1 million during the Great Terror of 1937-1938. Other scholars believe the number may have been much greater, as high as 60 million. The Americas, 1520s. Christopher Columbus and the Spanish conquistadors brought more than guns and horses to the New World. They also carried deadly germs that nearly obliterated the original inhabitants of the Americas. According to Charles C. Mann, author of 1493, Uncovering the new world Columbus created, the smallpox epidemic took the lives of between 60% and 90% of the indigenous population, leaving the New World weak against European colonization. Historians believe smallpox first came to the Americas in 1520, and it wasn't the only deadly disease the Europeans carried. Within a few generations, 20 million people died due to infectious diseases they had no inherited immunity against. Germany, 1918. World War I introduced the bloody realities of trench warfare and the hazards of chemical weapons. And while no single year between 1914 and 1918 was great, 1918 was undoubtedly the worst. The war slew between 16 million and 20 million people, and Germany was one of the hardest hit. A full 80% of the German male population between ages 15 and 49 went off to battle. Even after the war ended, the carnage wasn't over. In that same year, 1918, the Spanish flu pandemic took off, eventually infecting 1/3 of the world's population and decimating an estimated 20 million to 50 million people. It was at least as deadly as the most horrific war the world had ever seen. Italy, 1348. The Black Death was bad everywhere, but no one quite captured the desperation and horror like the Italians, who watched more than half of their fellow citizens die. As eyewitness Picasso wrote, "Brother abandoned brother. Fathers and mothers refused to see and tend their children." Another Florentine, Martian di Capo Stefani, described the devastation in even starker terms. Citizens had to quickly dig mass graves where layer upon layer of bodies and dirt filled up pits, just as one makes lasagna with layers of pasta and cheese. The plague took the lives of an estimated 20 million people across Europe during one of the worst times to be anywhere on the continent.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care, bye.